So, does pulling away from an avoidant get their attention? The answer to this question is eventually yes, but it might not end up being the results that you want. And in this video, I'm going to deep dive into what my personal experience was when someone did this to me and the thoughts that went through my mind as an unhealed, dismissive leaning, fearful avoidant, the handful of times in my life when I recognized that someone was kind of modifying their behavior and doing this to elicit a response. This video will also include an important message if you are in the situation in which you're tempted to try different tactics with your avoidant partner or avoidant date, so please stay tuned for that at the end. My name is Sarah Whaling, and I'm a certified coach specializing in helping people heal and reprogram their attachment style to become securely attached, identify and heal core wounds, heal from narcissistic abuse, and heal everyday pain points. Before I got my certifications, I have the personal experience of healing my own trauma and attachment style, which was very dismissive leaning, at times fearful avoidant. So in this video, I'll be combining my personal experience and professional knowledge to deep dive into this topic. If you're looking for one-on-one assistance with any of the topics that I discuss in my videos, please visit my website and leave me a detailed message on the contact page. Now, jumping into this topic, does pulling away from an avoidant get their attention? The first thing to know is that if you have a different attachment style, your definition of space might be a bit different than your avoidant partner's definition of space. So initially, if you do take some space, it really might not throw up any flags for them at all. Speaking from reflection on just personal experience, when anyone would pull away from me, it was very often that I, at first, didn't notice. And then as more time would go on, would often think everything was sunshine and rainbows. We often project from our own experience in the world when we aren't conscious to things. So I would see it as someone taking the space or time to do things that they wanted to do. And I definitely liked it because it gave me the space and time to do things that I wanted to do. Initially, when I only thought this was what was going on, it felt like a lucky situation. As more time would go on, and it would become obvious in one way or another that this was a game, so to speak, it definitely would elicit very negative emotions for me. Now, I can't speak for every single avoidant on this very specific part, but whether an avoidant has it entirely figured out that you're trying to get a response, when you pull away, there will be similar results across the board. Having a dismissive leaning, fearful avoidant attachment style, I definitely had hypervigilance and could pick up on people's intentions and motivations pretty easily. So that, of course, added to the negative emotions for me because no one likes to feel like someone is trying to manipulate them. This can be an especially big trigger for a fearful avoidant because it is common for them to have dealt with some type of pivotal relationship or relationships at some point in their life that involved some type of emotional or psychological unhealthiness, be it manipulation or something else. You simply cannot play these types of games with fearful avoidance. They are generally 5 steps ahead when someone does these things. That being said, even if an avoidant doesn't particularly know why you are pulling away, you can expect the likely following responses. From my personal experience, when I realized someone was, in fact, pulling away, whether I suspected the reason or not, I started having immediate following thoughts about the situation centered around the same theme. And that theme was, I didn't need them anyway. I would emotionally kind of shut down about the situation and be kind of turned off to the idea of the person. Thoughts surrounding it included, that is perfectly fine, I am better off. If I highly suspected that it was a manipulation tactic, it turned me off to the person immensely. The thought or emotions that wrapped it up in a nice little bow for me was that this was confirmation for me that it was not a good idea to be involved with this person, and that there was no way I could have sustained a relationship with someone that was going to do these things. And those kind of thoughts and feelings kind of ended things for me. I would then fall back into my independence and concentrate on other things. Avoidants are not at all likely to chase. You can have a very anxious leaning, fearful avoidant who might get highly triggered that you pull away, but your relationship, your bond, taking a hit like that is never a good thing long term, and it can also touch on the fearful avoidant's intense trust wound. So, an important message if this is you and you're in the position of trying to figure out how to get more out of your avoidant partner, just know that what this really points to is pain. You have an unmet need that you feel completely disempowered to ask for. And when people feel that way, they can resort to roundabout ways to try to get that need met. Games are never a good or sustainable solution for any kind of a relationship that's actually going to work out in the end. Relationships are not a power struggle. They're not about eliciting responses from the other person or gaining the upper hand. They're about coming together to figure out a solution that works for both people so that you and your partner can both get needs met in a happy middle ground and you can feed into the relationship instead of starve it. So, the solution is to get honest with yourself about what your needs are and vet the other person to see if they have wildly different needs, if they're willing to figure it out and meet you in the middle. If it's not a person that's able to have that productive conversation, then it might be a sign that this person is just not ready to have a healthy relationship at this point in time. Well, I hope that this video was helpful today, and if it was, please give it a like. If you're new here, welcome, and if you've been here before, thank you so much for your continued engagement.